Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So I've just wrapped up my first year of self-improvement and it's been absolutely amazing. It really has changed my life and it's just proved to me how awesome self-improvement can be, how powerful it can be. So in this video, I want to talk about the journey, some of the achievements I've made, but also the challenges that I've faced and how I've overcome those. So I want to say that I am proud of what I've achieved over the last year. But I do not want this to be some sort of show-off, flex type of video, because I really do think that you can achieve much more than this if you give yourself a year and dedicate yourself to self-improvement. So instead, I want this to be more of a look at what you can realistically accomplish if you dedicate yourself to self-improvement for 1 year, and hopefully inspire you to do that. So this was me 1 year ago, and I started my self-improvement journey on March 27th, 2023. And I remember the date exactly because this was the day that I got back from a family holiday. And it was on this holiday that I had my enough is enough moment, right? So at this point, I was the heaviest I'd ever been, so I was out of shape. And I was working for a company that were no longer paying my salary. So the company was going through financial difficulty and were no longer able to pay my salary. And out of blind loyalty or the hope that things would get better, I stuck with it and I was working full time and not being paid. And this went on for about 10 months. So I'd burnt through all of my savings. I had no investments, anything like that. Financially very bleak. And yeah, enough was enough. I had to do something about it. Now on top of this, the family holiday was actually to Dubai to visit my uncle's family. And if you've ever been to Dubai, you know that you are surrounded by success and wealth and beautiful people, and that's great if you're successful, wealthy and beautiful, but if you're not, it's shit, right? It makes you feel like a real failure. So that kind of exacerbated the situation and really made it, yeah, enough is enough, I have to do something. So I decided to pursue physical fitness, right? I wanted to build a body that I could be proud of, and I wanted to work towards financial independence. I had to get myself out of that financial situation. So I dived into YouTube videos and I thought, yeah, I can do that. So I got going March 27th, 2023. But it felt a little bit different this time, right? So you always have these dreams of getting in shape or making lots of money, but this time it felt different. I think maybe the pain of this enough is enough moment, that I'm really being in a bad situation, I had extra motivation to actually stick to this, and I've been able to stick to it for the last year, so it did work. Now, I feel like I started self-improvement late. I don't know if that's the case or not, but you see so much stuff online about these 20-year-old guys with like mansions, Lamborghinis, all their shit together. And I know it's bullshit, right? I know it's just there to get me to buy something, but when you see it over and over again, it does make you feel old. Like, turning 30 was a big deal for me. So yeah, starting self-improvement at 30, I thought that was late. But actually what I've realized over the last year is that age really should not factor into self-improvement, right? This is the advice that I would give my past self if I could go back 1 year and talk to the person just about to start his self-improvement journey. Don't worry about age, because it's not about comparing yourself to other people. It's about comparing yourself to yourself, right? The key is to be better today than you were yesterday, and to do that every single day. So don't worry about age, just focus on your goals and pursuing those goals. So back then I weighed 86.3 kilograms and had 26% body fat. Now I'm about 5'10", so that gives me a BMI of 27.2, which is right in the middle of the overweight category. So needless to say, I wasn't in good shape. Fast forward 1 year later, I weighed myself yesterday and I am 74.2 kilograms and I'm down to 15.5% body fat. Okay, so still a long way to go, but a huge improvement. And I was able to do this just by very simply walking every day. So every single day for the last year, almost every single day, a couple of days where I haven't, but it's mainly a 45-minute walk every day. And that allows me to get to my 10,000 steps, right? I've also been eating in a 500 calorie deficit, and I've been working out 3 times per week, right? So all simple stuff. And it's a little bit more intricate than that, but that really is the principle behind what worked. But what's interesting here is that actually I got down to this 74.2 kilogram level within a few months. It didn't actually take that long. And I have plateaued or fluctuated around that point for the rest of the year, which has been very frustrating. And it's something that I need to focus on in the next year of self-improvement to get past that barrier, to get out of this plateau. So again, any advice here, changing your body can actually be very, very quick if you are consistent and you stick to some simple rules. Now, this brings me to the first challenge that I faced this year, or the biggest challenge maybe, is the concept of time, understanding time, right? So when you first get into self-improvement, you think that some things will happen very quickly, you think other things will happen slowly, but you really don't know. You've never done this before. So, for example, with my weight loss, I thought it would take much longer, but it was actually very quick. But then I plateaued, and that was confusing. Like, how could something be quick and slow at the same time? So understanding time was a big challenge for me this year. And I think the only way you can get over this is just by doing it, right? You learn by experience. You learn that some things are faster, some things are slower, and only by going through it, you actually can plan out better in the future. So I think if you're struggling with understanding time and how long things are going to take, you just have to get stuck in and learn from your mistakes. Now, another big thing that really helped this year is I was able to really cut down the amount of video games that I play, or the amount of time I spend playing video games. So, beginning of my self-improvement journey, I played World of Warcraft, and I played for a lot of hours every single day. So I was part of a group, and we would meet up maybe 3 times a week, and we would try and do the most difficult stuff in the game. Like, if you know World of Warcraft, it's called raiding. So I was part of a raid group, and it took up a huge amount of my time. And I was able to cut this out. I stopped being part of that group, and I've cut down the amount I've played video games hugely. I basically don't play anymore. And this has been amazing. It's given me back so much time, and that's allowed me to pursue other things in self-improvement. And I actually found it actually quite easy to stop playing video games, right? I just basically prioritize other things. I kept myself busy so that I couldn't play video games. But I have to say, although it's very easy to give up, or I found it very easy to give up, it's the biggest temptation that I still have now. If things are not going too well, if I'm bored, the pull of playing video games is huge. So easy to give up, but it's always in the back of my mind. And I think that's because I've played video games for so long that it's kind of like a safe place for me. So yeah, but it's been really great giving up video games. It's given me back so much time. Okay, so that was health. What about wealth? So back then I was unemployed, right? I mean, technically you could say it was worse than being unemployed because I was working but not being paid. So it's like being a slave, I guess, but we'll put unemployed here. I had no savings. I burnt through all of that over the last 10 months, right, of not being paid and still having to survive. I had no investments, anything like that. Fast forward to now, over the last year, I've been able to land a good job. So I've been working at my current company for the last 9 months. So I got a good job with a good salary. And because of that, because of money coming in each month, I've been able to invest that in the S&P 500. I've put that into high interest savings accounts. And I've learnt about wealth management and kind of introduced those tactics or the knowledge that I've learnt. And I've actually been able to build an emergency fund, which is currently sitting at about 50% of my annual salary. So I'm really, really proud of that. And I was able to do this simply by budgeting, right? Cutting my expenses, looking at what I spend each month, cutting out the unnecessary stuff, setting myself a limit. And every single month when my paycheck comes in, I take a percentage of that away so that I can't possibly spend it, and I move it across into my emergency fund. And then I try and grow that money either through investments or learning about wealth management. So again, pretty straightforward steps, but it's just actually executing on them, implementing them. So yeah, the wealth side of things, I'm pretty happy with. Now, YouTube is another thing that I've been really focusing on this year. So this is more of a fun hobby than wealth. Obviously, I'm still very, very small channel, but I see YouTube as a big milestone for me. I put off starting a YouTube channel for a long time. I was very worried about putting videos out there worried what people would think of me. But I decided to take the plunge and to put out my first video back in July 2023. And I have been uploading every single week at least one video since then. So I've really stayed committed to this, and I'm very, very pleased with the progress that I've made. So this is now a very large part of my life, and it brings me great joy. So yeah, YouTube has been really, really cool this year. Now, relationships, this is a bit of a strange one. I did not focus on this over the last year. I'm already married, so I don't need to worry about dating. But I do feel like I do not have enough friends. I don't have a friendship group that I hang out with a lot. I've got a few friends here and there, but not like really solid group of people that I hang out with a lot. And that's something that I feel I am missing. So this is something like, note to self, I will be focusing on this next year. This is going to be an important part of my self-improvement journey next year. I've got to build that friendship group. I've got to build that network. So if you're struggling with relationships, I can't really give you much advice on this at the moment, but a few months' time after focusing on this, I should be able to give you some advice on what's worked for me, in the hope that it works even better for you. Now, when I was writing this video, I thought it would be useful if I write down some questions and almost interview myself. I thought that if I answer these questions, it might give you more insight, it might give you more context and help you with your self-improvement journey. So I've got a few questions. Imagine I'm interviewing myself. So, what was the biggest milestone this year? I think on the finance side, the biggest milestone was when I had built up some savings and I was able to move that across into a high interest savings account, and I locked it in for a year. That was a really big milestone for me because I was able to see, you know what, in 12 months' time when this matures, I'm going to be getting back a few £1,000s in interest. That was really big for me because not only was it like the culmination of getting the new job, saving money, I was now actually implementing some of the wealth management techniques that I'd learnt. So that was really huge. Now on the health side of things, it was when I first started getting comments about looking better. Oh my God, you've lost so much weight. How did you do it? Those types of comments. That was a big milestone when I got that first comment, because again, the hard work, all the sacrifices I'd put in about not eating the food I wanted to, walking every day, all that sort of stuff, it started to pay off. So those would be the big milestones this year. And of course, starting the YouTube channel. What was the most helpful tool to help with self-improvement this year? I have to say that watching YouTube videos was the most helpful tool for me. But I think that when you watch YouTube videos, you've got to be critical about them. You've got to ask why a lot, because there's a lot of bullshit on YouTube as well. So when I watch YouTube videos, I try and understand everything. And if there are any points which I don't agree with, or they seem a bit crap to me, then I ask why. And then I'll watch another video on that topic. And maybe that new video will answer the question. But then maybe it will pose a new question, right? So then you just keep asking why, keep watching videos asking why, until you feel like you have a very good understanding of that topic and you have what you need to start improving in that area. So I would like to read more books. That's something I'm going to focus on next year for sure. But to be honest, this year it's been watching YouTube videos, but making sure that I'm watching them critically and asking why. Which change has had the biggest impact on my life this year? I would say that what's given me the most time is cutting down video games. That's given me a huge amount of time back so that I can actually pursue other areas of self-improvement. But I would say that the biggest, the change that's had the biggest impact has actually been walking every day. Like the 45 minutes each day, not only does it help with losing weight, it helps me get out of the house, it clears my head, it de-stresses me. It's a really simple thing to implement, but it has a huge impact. So I would say that that's probably the thing that's had the biggest impact on my life this year, just walking 45 minutes a day. So I can strongly advise you to do that if you're not already doing that. How do I plan to maintain and build upon the progress I've made in the coming years? Here, it really is just stick to the plan, right? It's working. I've got my goals laid out. Just stick to the plan and keep educating myself in those areas so that I can achieve that plan faster, right? I become more efficient at those different areas. I think it's very, very tempting to always be reassessing your goals, and you give yourself a couple of months, oh, that didn't work, I'll change my goal. And I think that's really bad. Like, you have to give yourself enough time. So maybe if you're thinking of reassessing your goals, leave it for a year, right? Like, really give yourself enough time to actually go after those goals before reassessing and giving yourself another goal. So yeah, I just plan to stick to it, right? Keep building a body I want, keep working on the YouTube channel, keep growing my wealth and being sensible about that, and keep not playing video games, basically. Yeah, that's the plan for the coming years. So that's my progress, the challenges that I've faced, the journey over the last year of self-improvement. As I say, it's been absolutely life-changing. It really has confirmed to me just how powerful self-improvement can be. And as I said at the beginning, I didn't want this to be a show-off flex type of video. I really do think that you can achieve much more than this if you dedicate yourself to self-improvement for 1 year. So I hope that if you're thinking of getting into self-improvement, this inspired you. If you're already in self-improvement, I hope that this keeps you on the path. And let me know down in the comments where you are in your self-improvement journey, some challenges you're facing, things like that. It'd be great to have a chat. And with that being said, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you in the next video.